Sin City. Saturday night. Fight night. Any given weekend, this place is the entertainment capital of the world. When combat sports shines brightest on the Las Vegas Strip. Boxing and mixed martial arts need some new voices. And Franchise Sports Media got them for you. Join Kalani and Griff and Kemp each week as they bring you news and hot takes from inside the octagon and the ring. Get your popcorn ready. It's showtime. FSM's main event starts right now.
What's going on, fight fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. I'm Kalani.
I'm Griff and Kemp.
Boy, oh boy, Griff, we are here now, freshly after the Jake Paul-Tommy Fury showdown. We're going to get into the fight itself. What I want to ask you, though, initial reaction to the result. We'll get into the fight itself,
of course.
But hearing Tommy Fury win via split decision, just give me your quick reactions to that.
Oof. Some people have an apology to give to one Tommy Fury, and I am one of them. I have to apologize. He looked impressive. He looked good.
Yeah. So when you heard his name announced as the winner, what was some of like the initial thoughts that went through your mind?
First, excitement, seeing, because it's just new, everyone wanting to see Paul lose. It's exciting, when it finally does happen. But then another thought of mine was kind of thinking back on the rounds, how involved the referee was, the points deducted because of the hits to the back of the head for both fighters. Jake Paul got 2 knockdowns throughout the fight, and he still got the loss. So they count him for 1 or 2. They count him for one. He got knockdowns.
It's just one. When the bell, before they made the announcement, what were your true thoughts? What did you really feel in your gut? Maybe not what you're saying out loud because emotions are high and you're just in. But what did your gut tell you before they read the cards? What did your gut tell you on who you thought won?
Oh, I thought Jake Paul won.
Really?
Yeah, really. I really thought he was going to get his name called because he had knockdowns, he had points, and yes, Tommy came out aggressive in the beginning, but Jake answered it well. He handled that aggressive nature by him well, and he just kind of, I don't know, when there's not a big moment, one singular big knockout in the 4th or the 8th round, I just kind of assumed, okay, this one's going to Jake.
Okay, well, Jake only got 1 knockdown. He didn't get multiple knockdowns.
Okay,
he got 1.
Okay,
they both had a point. They both had a point deduction on them, which the Jake Paul one, I will admit, was a bit weird, only because I felt like he didn't give enough warnings to Jake on the back of their heads. But nonetheless, the referee was absolute trash. Garbage, horrible for this particular fight. If they do a rematch, there is a rematch clause in the fight. Hopefully, he's not the guy in charge anymore. But initially, I'm not going to lie, I thought I could see a draw. I could see a split majority draw, only because, like you said, we got the knockdown, so that definitely goes to him. But Fury had rounds that I felt like, hey, even though Paul's moving forward, Fury's being more effective. Right. And then with the combinations, now Paul has some very good shots in there. Again, we'll dive into that. But when the final bell rang, I truly felt that this was going to be a draw. One, it's boxing. Yeah, just know boxing's going to throw something crazy at you. But then again, to boxing's credit, because they've had some. Very quickly, remember Oscar De La Hoya? Mm-hmm. Oh, Oscar never lose a decision in Vegas. That's the golden boy. Right. Well, he lost to Trinidad in a decision. He lost to Mosley twice in close decision. So the whole idea of boxing not letting so-and-so lose, that's in some ways a myth. But I really thought that this was going to be a draw and we were going to see the rematch. But when they announced Tommy Fury, I was like, I could see that. Because I did feel Tommy Fury got out to a very good early lead and had a lot better moments. Now, as you were alluding to before, now that we talked about reactions, you were alluding to how the fight was going and how they both came out looking how they did. Break down the fight to me from your perspective on what you saw from both fighters who put on a fantastic showing.
Absolutely. The first round, Tommy Fury comes out and he's aggressive and he looked good. Just without seeing the rest of the fight, just that first round, he looked phenomenal. He was aggressive. That was aggression that I don't think anybody saw coming from Tommy Fury.
Real quick, Tommy Fury looks like if you were to make a movie about boxing, he's the boxer you go get to play the villain.
Oh, yeah,
he looks like a transformer the way he's built, and you're right. That threw everyone off guard how aggressive he was early on.
Yes, and then after that first aggressive round, he still remained aggressive, but But then we see that he's just got the movement. He's dipping and dopping, and he's just avoiding Jake, but he's not running from him. He's setting up shots.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts hitting him with that jab and starts going back with the combos. And after the movement, after dodging shots, he actually goes aggressive again, and he pins Jake Paul against the ring. I mean, it was very impressive. And unless you've been following Tommy Fury's career throughout his first 8 fights, I don't think you would understand, like, this guy, nobody gave a single chance to.
Especially you.
Especially me. I didn't give him a chance. No one did. But then he comes out. He does what he does. He takes on the criticism. He takes all the heat that, this fight's been 2.5 years in the making. Yeah. So many pullouts, so much criticism. And he stayed true to it, and he shows up, and he gets the victory. Beautiful.
No, very much so. And you hit the nail on the head. So much criticism and how long this fight was taking to prepare. This was his best fight ever.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't have the extensive amateur history like a lot of pro boxers have. Lomachenko has like 350 amateur bouts. Devin Haney's in the 220s. Andre Ward is over 300. Like, a lot of times guys have this extensive amateur background. He doesn't have that. Turned pro very early. He's 23 years old. Mm-hmm. But in his first 8 fights, you're looking at it like, there's a reason Jake Paul picked him to be his pro boxing. Well, there's a reason for it. But Tommy Fury, in a sense, showed there's levels to this. There's a reason I'm a pro boxer. There's a reason you're still trying to get your way here. He put on such a fantastic showing, and I think he had to do that initially, like you said, come out aggressive, because that's not his forte. Right. And you got to sometimes come out and put your foot down and say, hey, I'm here to bang with you, bro. If you want to throw that right hand and you want this to make it a slugfest, I'm here for that. But then, like you said, once he got comfortable, he started moving around, setting it up. Now, what I didn't like was he was putting his hands down at times, and I was allowing Jake to land some shots on him. But then again, when you are confident, and that also could lead you into trying to bait the guy. Let Jake Paul be a little bit more aggressive and coming in so you could counter him. It happened at times it didn't. But to Jake Paul's credit, and get away from Tommy Fury for a moment, to Jake Paul's credit, man, oh man, I'll tell you what, even in the loss, and I said this on the show, at the 15-minute mark, I said it. If Jake Paul goes out there and puts on a good performance and is competitive through the whole fight, even in a decision loss, he would have gained some respect. Griff, I don't know about you, because I know you were rooting for him initially. I feel like Jake Paul, in a sense, he lost the fight, but he won the war.
See, and I like what you said earlier about how Jake Paul picked Tommy Fury to fight. He picked him because of a very unimpressive 8-0 record. Mm-hmm. People would argue he has the name. He had all the criteria Jake Paul needed to push along this train of his boxing career. The perfect resume. But now, I don't think he was expecting to lose this guy. He wasn't expecting.
Well, he wasn't expecting that Tommy Fury to come out.
No,
he was like, the guy who fought in his 5th pro fight, that's who I thought I was facing, not this guy.
He wasn't expecting it at all. And so, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for Paul. It could be a good thing because you have, now he has like a true rival. He has somebody who they're going to run this. They're probably going to run this rematch back. And if Jake's able to get the victory, they'll have a trilogy, possibly. And that prolongs it. That helps his hype a little bit. Or it could also really hurt him because of the fact that Jake Paul's whole entire boxing career has been fueled by the attraction of him continuing to win, continuing to beat guys that are considered fighters when he is not. I mean, now going forward, he'll fight Tommy again, and we'll see what kind of attraction that has and what pull. But I mean, besides Fury, if he does, he needs to get the win. That's for sure. But after Fury, I mean, Nate Diaz is kind of an option. But like, where do you go?
Well, you just said it. I got Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, I could do in boxing. He said he wants to do 1-1, one boxing match, one MMA bout. There's other MMA fighters, whether they're older or currently active, who I could take on in boxing matches as well.
But are we still going to stick with the retired MMA fighters?
Why not?
Fighting the MMA fighters? Because we just saw what happened when he fought a guy who's considered a legit boxer.
And he was competitive. But what I'm saying is, so right now for Jake Paul, initially, yes, a rematch with Tyson Fury. Mm-hmm. He still has the MMA guys. You got to think about it. Well, what boxers is he going to take on? How many boxers do you know who are 9-1? How many boxers do we know with less than 10 pro fights? There's not many, other than Lomachenko, who again, two Olympic games that he competed in. The extensive amateur record background. He's the anomaly in guys who don't have X amount of pro fights and yet is still at the championship level. Everybody else, I promise you're not going to be able to name 20 other guys who have less than 13 fights in their pro career. So he could take on other boxers like Tommy Fury's first 8 guys that we just don't know. And it's like, okay, well, this guy, you know, he's the son of this former guy, or he's the cousin of this guy, or whatever. He can fight those guys in boxing if he wants to, but he has MMA guys out there as well. And let's not sleep on the fact that, guess what? MMA, boxers, what about another YouTuber? What about a possible celebrity? I don't have anyone in mind because I don't know them. I don't know all the guys who have interest in that, but Jake has more options in that he showed I can hang with a pro boxer. Again, I do believe he's still box office. A loss is going to hurt in the initial run. Long term, I think this helps Jake.
See, that's going backwards. This whole business model Jake Paul's had with his boxing career, the opponents have gotten better and better. It started off with a dunk contest former NBA player. Then it goes to Ben Askren, a grappler. Then it goes to Tyron Woodley, a striker, not a great striker, but a striker. And then it goes to Anderson Silva, who was known as a great striker. Yeah. And then it goes to Tommy Fury, a real boxer, undefeated boxer. Yep. So now you go backwards by fighting another retired MMA guy. You go backwards by fighting like KSI. Like
it won't be backwards if it makes money. Him versus Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz, that makes money.
So is he a boxer or is he an entertainer?
Why can't you be both? Because technically it's an entertainment sport. It's a combat sport, yes, but it's all about entertainment. Look at the amount of stars who was there. Now, granted, because it was in Saudi Arabia and there was some certain types of money being thrown around.
Big old money.
Cristiano Ronaldo was there. Mike Tyson was there. Kevin Hart was there. Devin Haney was there. Sean Porter was on the call for the fight. That's Tyson Fury, obviously, because that's his brother.
Deontay Wilder
was there. There was a lot of guys outside of Tyson Fury who has the vested interest, and Ronaldo, who plays pro ball over there. Look at the amount of celebrities who were there. This shows you that, yes, there's an attraction here. And look, you say take a step back. Nate Diaz is one of the biggest stars in combat sports, and the hype between them, the rivalry and the hype that they'll be able to build up from press conferences, from interviews, from media, that's going to build it up. That's only going to build up. And again, if you're Jake Paul, if I take on other boxers, who am I supposed to take on right now that has this low of a record that you guys are going to get excited for?
That's the thing. Because there's guys out there with undefeated records. There's guys out
that
there
we don't know about who
don't have the name.
Yeah, but they don't have the name. So guess what? You're not going to necessarily be the guy that I want to fight. Tommy Fury has the name because he's got the dad. He's got the brother. He's got, as you said, the perfect resume for me to challenge you. Now, I came up short. We're going to run it back, but I came up short. Does Deontay Wilder have a younger brother that he can fight? Does Anthony Joshua have a younger brother? Does Canelo? I know Canelo has a brother, but I believe his brother is younger, but he's older. So
maybe, but like now what? We're fighting the brothers of real boxers? Like, no, Jake Paul, we never know what the main goal is here. Are we trying to get to Canelo, or are we just trying to entertain the masses? What are we trying to do here?
First off, the whole Canelo thing, that's on a big board. Take that out your mind. Because I promise you right now, unless there is $400 million guaranteed, Canelo's not fighting him. So get that out your mind now. You're saying, what's the big goal?
What's the end game here? What is he really trying to do here?
He's trying to put on the best fights he possibly can. And also entertain and get money. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. You're getting the paycheck. So if I fight Nate Diaz, okay, I fight Tommy Fury again. Let's say he loses. I fight Nate Diaz, 1-1. I could also fight Conor McGregor. I could also fight this former MMA guy. I could also fight this former boxer. Roy Jones Jr. is about to fight Anthony Pettis. I could fight a retired boxer now that I have, let's say, 12, 13 boxing matches. I can fight maybe an older boxing guy. Jake isn't looking to go 33-2 throughout his boxing career. I'm just trying to go out there and squeeze all the juice I can out of this to try and get as much as I can out of it. Plenty of great options on the table, Griff. So don't be so caught up in, what did Bruce Lee say? Don't focus on the finger or you miss all of its heavenly glow. You're looking so far ahead, you're missing all the opportunities in front of you. That is big money. Hell, we're sitting here talking about Paul and Fury right now.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
several weeks ago we wouldn't have.
No.
But this fight was big time.
It's doing well. He's doing well. I guess it's not as much a criticism as I'm just asking, because as a fan of combat sports, as somebody who loves watching these athletes go out and do what they do, every one of these fighters, Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, George St. Pierre, Jon Jones, they've all had this singular goal, which is they want to get to the pinnacle, which is I want to win for a title. I want to be considered one of the best. I want to fight the best. So that, as a fan watching, all I want to know is where is exactly can I expect Jake Paul to be in the next couple of years? Where can I expect Jake Paul to be looking for his next opponent? Because I know it aligns well with what he's trying to do ultimately.
Well, again, you got to go one at a time. It's one fight at a time. George St. Pierre doesn't get to be GSP if he fumbles on his 12th fight.
Of course.
Matt Hughes doesn't become Matt Hughes if he fumbles on his 9th fight. Jon Jones doesn't get to be Jon Jones if he loses on one of the prelims in his second UFC fight in there. It's steps before you get to the big picture. So yeah, while the end game is this, guess what? Look at the amount of attention and money Paul is making now. And he's not a world champion.
No.
He's not fighting the big fights. Floyd Mayweather's still out there doing exhibition fights. He just did one in London. Who's to say he can't fight him? Again, if I get the paycheck and I get the notoriety, who's to say I can't do any of this stuff? And then, oh yeah, guess what? My brother is over there in WWE making buku money, doing tremendous things. He's about to have a fight at WrestleMania. Guess what? Who's to say he doesn't go over there and do some spots for wrestling? Doesn't have to be full-time, but some spots. There are a lot of things that you can line up here afterwards, despite losing. Because again, he showed that he was competitive, just like Rocky won and Creed won. I went out there and showed you that while I came up short, I'm someone to take serious, because there was times where he dropped Tommy Fury. He rocked Tommy Fury with a left hook that made his hair go back. His hair didn't move the entire fight until that left hook. Did you notice that? The whole time I'm like, how's his hair not moving?
It's like Conor versus Cowboy. Not a strand of hair moved throughout the entire bout.
Gotta find a way to put your boy in there.
Always.
Fair enough. But this fight was good, Griff. This fight was good. Like, regardless of results, this was good. Yes. It was entertaining. It was fun. And I gotta say this, in watching it, yeah, it wasn't the perfect execution of boxing, but for guys at their particular level, I was entertained.
Absolutely.
And I was very impressed by how Tommy Fury looked and by Jake Paul. One of those where, we even said before, despite what we may say about Jake Paul's resume and come up, he's taking this sport seriously. Yeah. Tommy Fury, hopefully now, like you said, with all the pressure that was on him, he's willing to see that I can be at this level. I got some things to improve on, but I can't fight at this level. Keep working. Keep getting better, because he definitely looks like he might have his mind on life after boxing at only 23 years old. But hopefully this is the jump start for him to say, I can't be here. I'm worthy of this.
Absolutely. And I'm going to pose a question to you. My biggest takeaway, too, with after watching this fight, again, very entertaining, very, very successful in every category. What is the impact on the sport of boxing now after this fight? Does it have any? I mean, I
think it's a positive one.
You think it's a positive one? I think so too. No, you're good. I think Jake Paul, and the reason I kept asking where's he going, why I'm so fixated on his goals with this, is because I'm wondering the impact he's going to have on boxing, where you have this guy who comes out of nowhere as a former YouTube star. He's probably still a YouTube star. I don't know what he's got, his following, but you have him going this different route where he's boxing guys that are MMA, NBA, former athletes of other sports, and now he's finally getting in to fight a real boxer who's already legit in this game. So is it going to make it so boxing has this new little revenue right here, where boxing has this all new aspect of it, where it's like, yeah, you can watch the professionals, that it's buttoned up, it's legit, it's the top of the top. But we also have this little component over here where we have guys like Jake Paul having the masses come in and watch his fights, and he's not even fighting other boxers. He's fighting guys, who knows, down like you said, him and Conor, after watching today's fight, and if he still has this going by the time Conor's kind of hanging it up, and maybe he wants a little career like Floyd, doing exhibitions or doing these little boxing bouts, I wouldn't hate that at all. I would love it.
He would sleep Conor McGregor.
Conor would sleep him stupid, all right?
Jake Paul will put Conor McGregor on a stretcher.
That toupee Jake Paul's wearing, Conor's going to knock that right off.
Yeah, and guess what? That little mustache, that little bearded mustache that he be wearing is coming off. He's going back to the clean-shaven Conor McGregor after this. He's going to look like pre-UFC Conor McGregor once Jake Paul touches him, and that wasn't a good one, okay?
That was a savage
Looked like he was a goalie for a dart team with all those hits on him. But nonetheless, in wrapping this up, I think, as you said, I think this is a great thing for boxing. I really do, because it brings eyes to it.
Right.
And again, it was a good showing. Had this been a walloping and not been entertaining, or it just been a shit show the entire time, it would have been like, we paid money and we got hyped up for this, but it was entertaining. Think about it. As we both sat here in the beginning of the show, we didn't necessarily know who won at the end. Right. And it was competitive. Yeah, you had the takeaway from the back of the head shots by the referee, but you had the knockdown. You had some rounds that looked like Tommy Fury dominated, some rounds where Jake Paul looked like he was doing the most damage. So it was one of those where it's like, hey, this is pretty entertaining. And boxing, it could use that, because guess what? We're going to get some legit fights. We're going to get Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Who's to say we don't get Jake Paul, Tommy Fury afterwards? Okay, give me Give me the pinnacle. Just like right now with the NFL and the XFL. Give me the best of the best in football. But then when that's not going on, let me see what these guys got to do. Because some of these guys might be able to surprise you and be like, hey, this guy's pretty good. I'm enjoying this, just like now in the XFL. So I think there's plenty of room for this particular type of combat sports to take place.
Absolutely. And last little note, I will say, this little field that Jake Paul's been making with all these crazy boxing fights, you know who kind of can slide right into that category? One Francis Ngannou, who's looking for his next fight. He might be hooking up with old Deontay Wilder.
I was just about to say, I think his opponent was there ringside. Whether it was Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, we shall see. But I do think it was there. It's gonna be fun to see how it goes. But Griff,
we got to talk about it.
Talk about fun. Talk about exciting.
Talk about legacy.
This is Christmas Eve at 11:59:50, and I'm just waiting. It's time, y'all. It is time. Hold on. I know he's not, but just hold on. He is the reigning, defending, never lost his title, undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, Jon Jones. He's back. Jon Jones is coming back. UFC 285 going down this weekend. He's taking on Ciryl Gane in the heavyweight division for the vacant UFC heavyweight title. Griff, he's back. Jon Jones, I'm gonna let you take over because I'm a little excited right now.
I got you.
I'm gonna let you take over.
Buddy.
Jon Jones, Ciryl Gane. Go ahead. I'm a little excited.
It's finally here. We've waited 3 long years.
3 long years, brother. Preach.
See Bones come back onto the octagon, all right? We've waited a long time. And now the stakes have never been higher. They've never been higher. You take 3 years off. You talk about you posting videos of your training and you're bulking and you're getting big and you're benching 315. He's coming out here and he's trying to make a statement. He's not just coming back and it's not about that he didn't want to cut the weight to 205. He could have cut that any day of the week. He's doing this for one purpose only. Everyone thought it was money. No, he's the heaviest. He's going to be the highest paid heavyweight once he enters that ring. No, this is about one thing for Bones: legacy, status. He's coming with GOAT on the mind. All right, he wants to prove I wasn't just the GOAT in my division. I'm the GOAT of this whole sport. But can he do it?
Oh. We shall see, because I don't want to overlook Ciryl Gane. I don't want to be disrespectful to him like that, no matter how much I'm a fan of Jon Jones. But he is coming back, and he's like, look, even Jon Jones said it. I wasn't afraid of the guys at 205. It got to the point where I didn't have that fear in me. Yep. And it's true. We see that sometimes in guys. You overlook your opponents. That's how you get upsetted. Yep. When you're not taking these guys as seriously because you defending your title so much, all the pressure is on you. You're just like, whatever. Even though you went out there and dominated all these guys, you definitely started to see that he had to find ways to be motivated. For example, the first time he fought Alexander Gustafsson, they're only saying you're good because you're as tall as me and you can kind of box. So I'm not even going to train. That was his closest to ever losing. But everyone else, the Glover Teixeiras, not even Glover Teixeira, I won't say that because Glover came in with a very good resume. Yeah. But when he got to Dominic Reyes, Thiago Santos, Ovin St. Preux, it got to the point where it's like, these are the guys you're lining me up against? Like, no disrespect to any of those guys, but where have they all gone after Jon Jones? Not anywhere.
I mean, we've seen the whole light heavyweight division now. The belt just dancing around anyone who comes in for a title shot.
Boop, boop. Hot potato, you take it. But Jon Jones is stepping in, new challenge, new division, and he's taking on some guys that, look, we all know this. Regardless of the record, at heavyweight, it only takes one shot to put you to sleep, no matter who you are. So that fear and excitement is there, and like you said, his legacy. While he is always going to be considered the greatest of all time, Anderson Silva lost a couple of MMA bouts. We still look at him as one of the greatest of all time. So again, this isn't necessarily going to hurt his legacy. I mean, if he went, let's just say, Griff, if he went like 0-3 and got starched in all 3, a little like, okay, heavyweight just wasn't for you. But again, that's not where he was the GOAT at. So it's not like, he has his, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try my luck here. BJ Penn tried it, Vanderlei Silva tried it. A lot of different guys have tried their hands at higher weight classes. But Jon Jones stepping in at heavyweight, taking on Ciryl Gane from France, Paris, Vivi, Manasahu, Natatois. Sorry, just had a little flashback there. But he's taking on the croissant man himself, Ciryl Gane, one of the most well-rounded kickboxers kickboxers, strikers in all of the UFC. Tough, physical. Even though he fights at heavyweight, Griff, he moves like a damn 185er.
He moves way too fast for a guy that
Way
big.
too fast.
Way too fast. You should not be able to make those kind of movements when you are bigger than Francis Ngannou himself.
Thank you.
It's disgusting.
It's terrifying if I'm telling you the truth. We were talking about horror films earlier, getting a different type of horror. That's scary. When I see somebody that freaking big and he's moving like, oh, hell no.
Oh, yes.
But that's what's going to get Jon Jones excited. It's the fact that I'm in a division with guys like that. I'm in a division with guys like Derek Lewis, who no matter what, 24 minutes, 20 seconds left in the fight, he might knock me out. Cyril Gane, who moves like a damn Rashad Evans, but he fights at the weight of Derek Lewis. Well, he's not there anymore, but Stipe Miocic, the heavyweight, who also...
Stipe's still... Oh, he's still there. He's
taking the chops. He's waiting for the winner.
The man who's considered the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe, he is still there.
He does have the UFC record for most title defenses.
This man, he's there. And I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
No. I'm gonna wrap it up because I don't want to sit here and elongate because I really can't talk long about Jon Jones. Pause. But Jon Jones is going to be a lot of fun to see. Does he go the wrestling route? So here's something. Notice, Griff, when Jon Jones would fight his opponents, you ever notice how he would dominate a lot of these guys?
Oh, yeah.
He fought them at their game. When he fought Glover Teixeira, a stand-up guy, he stood up with him. When he fought, when he fought Chael Sonnen, a wrestler, you grappled the hell out of Anderson Silva. I'm gonna wrestle you. He tries to fight how you fight, in a sense.
Right.
When he fought Lyoto Machida, he fought Lyoto Machida's fight. Now, he got caught on a little nice straight right by Lyoto, but then he choked him out. And that's what throws so many people off. So in this one, the obvious answer would be throw some leg kicks, those oblique kicks, and then take Cyril Gane down to the mat. We saw against Francis Ngannou when Ngannou turned into Habib Ngannou, right?
Ngannou, yeah, that's
Gane didn't have an answer for it. And Cyril Gane, whether he's playing hooky or not, has said, I don't really train that hard. I only train when I have a fight. Now when we'll see. But you don't train that much, and you get abs like that still? Good Lord, some people are lucky.
You got delts the size of a dodgeball. You're doing something. Don't come at me with that.
Hey,
Come
for
on.
real. You like, hey, come on, bro. Hey, look, if that's the case, we have to look at your USADA test. Hey, but nonetheless, does he go with the leg kicks and does he take him down to the ground and try to wrestle him, or does he surprise Cyril Gane? Maybe not try to do the traditional kickboxing stand up with him, but does he keep it on the feet, get in close with him, do some dirty boxing, put him against the cage, lean on him with his sides? I want to get your take. How do you think, if you're in Jon Jones's corner, what do you tell him?
I don't think I'm telling him. You have a background in wrestling. You are not considered a great. You are considered a great wrestler without ever touching a college wrestling match.
Crazy.
You are a good wrestler. Stick with it, because not only is this guy a bodybuilder who moves like Connor, he is ginormous. And yes, you've bulked up in these last 3 years to make this weight and to fight in this division. But something, let me tell you, as a former athlete, when you bulk up and when you're at your biggest and when you're at your leanest, there's such a difference.
Yeah,
you move
sure.
different. When you're big, yes, you feel more powerful. You feel like you can withstand more. You're not as afraid to take damage, but you're slower. You're not able to move as quick. All right. And I think if he tries to stand up and fight Cyril Gane's game, which would be basically a kickboxing fight, it's not going to go well for him. Cyril knows how to move that big old body. He knows how to move it. Jon Jones, we have yet to see. And another thing too, Jones is a little bit long in the tooth. He's a little bit older. Last time we saw him fight, he fought Dominic Reyes, and that fight was so close that people were proclaiming Reyes is the next Jon Jones. Reyes is our next king.
Jon Jones haters. Jon Jones haters. That's all that was.
You can't argue that was not his best performance. That was not good.
Who won?
He won. He won the decision. What I said weeks ago was right. He wanted Francis, and he knows that Francis being gone in this fight right here, Cyril Gane being in this position on not Francis, that's a little bit of a knock on that win. If it's a victory for Jones, congrats, but it's a little bit of a knock.
I'll be honest, if it's a knock, that's just by people who don't want to give him credit, who don't want to acknowledge that, hey, listen, it's a knock if Francis is still around. He ain't here. Like, you're not here anymore. I can't help it if you're not here. Guess what? Daniel Cormier is cage side for the fight. I can't help it if DC is not fighting anymore. We can't have the third fight heavyweight. He's retired. I can't help that. It is interesting. He said, DC, you can call the fight. That's okay, man. We squashed in DC. Like, I don't need your damn permission to do it. It's like,
little brother in him. He's still little brother in him, even though he's in retirement.
These guys need a 30 for 30 series on them at some point down the road. It'll be interesting. But yeah, you're right. How does Jon Jones attack it with his new size? If anything, I would say throw some leg kicks out there to slow the movement of Ciryl Gane down, maybe with some body shots, but then also head kicks. You don't have to worry about the takedowns from Ciryl Gane. Now, granted, now we're talking about Jones. What if Ciryl Gane changes it up? What if Ciryl Gane says, I'm gonna come out there and wrestle you? Surprise Jon Jones.
Learned his lesson from
Maybe
Francis?
so. If John is gonna come out there with those long tree legs, maybe I come out there, chop him down. Maybe I come out there, double leg. That'll be surprising, will it not? No one's gonna expect Ciryl Gane to come out there and shoot. Now, granted, because he hasn't wrestled before, if you shoot him from across the cage, brother, you got no chance. But if you get in close, dip in, it's very possible you could surprise him.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see how it is.
It's going to be an aggressive fight, too. I could see this being just absolutely bloody.
Also on the card, we got women's flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko putting her title on the line against Alexis Grasso. Will Valentino continue her GWOAT, greatest woman of all time run, or will Grasso be able to shake it up? UFC 285 is going to be fun. Griff, I cannot wait, my brother.
It's going to be a good one.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. I'm Kalani Lua.
I'm Griffin Kemp.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, fight fans. Peace.